"Consider your files purged," the director said, lips curling as if victory were something he could taste. No loose ends. He believed that line. Believed it so fully he didn't even notice me watching him erase years of my work, my warnings, my record of what was coming. He thought power was permanent. He thought I was disposable. At 5:01 p.m., I proved him wrong. One email. One PDF. A subject line that said only Q3 Risk Register, all ignored warnings. When the chairman opened it, I saw his expression change on the board call. His smile, slow, confident, just evaporated. His hand tightened on the desk, his jaw slackening as his eyes scanned the first page. Then his mic cut. His voice, faint but audible in the room where I waited, bled through his muted feed, "Get legal on the line and find out where she is." I leaned back in my chair. They'd find me exactly where I wanted them to. I wasn't always their enemy. Once, I believed in them. I thought the director was brilliant, sharp, decisive, a man who cut through noise with terrifying efficiency. He called me his risk radar, the one who saw around corners. When he leaned over my desk, lowering his voice like we were co-conspirators, I believed it was respect, maybe even trust. And when the board praised his foresight, I didn't mind that my slides had his name on them. I told myself it was politics, exposure. One day I'd be on that stage too. But politics is just betrayal in slow motion. The first sign was subtle. My flagged risks, ignored. Downgraded from red to green without explanation. My reports buried under urgent priorities. At first, I thought it was oversight. Then I caught the language, my phrasing, my structuring. His presentations were stitched together from pieces of my work, stripped of warnings, sold as strategic insight. The second sign wasn't subtle. The breach hit. A vendor I had flagged months earlier. I'd written it in bold, circled it twice in the register. He dismissed it as alarmist. When it collapsed, costing millions, he said nothing. But he looked at me during the crisis call with a smirk that wasn't fear. It was calculation. That's when I knew. He wasn't careless. He was covering tracks. And if I kept pushing, I'd be next. So I stopped pushing. I smiled. I nodded. I let him believe I was broken, compliant. He told me to purge the backlog and clean the files. I did. At least the copies he could see. The real archive, the one that lived in shadows, I built line by line. Every warning ignored, every timestamp, every contradiction between what I wrote and what he presented. My own private ledger, encrypted, redundant, untraceable. Patience is sharper than rage. The plan was simple. Wait for him to cut me out completely. Let him declare me obsolete. Then turn the knife. That moment came faster than I expected. "Your role is redundant," he told me, in the glass room where promotions were handed out like executions. "You'll receive a severance package. Consider this closure." Closure. That word tasted like iron. I walked out with nothing but a cardboard box. At least, that's what he thought. 12 weeks later, the board scheduled their quarterly review. A clean narrative, he believed. The risks were under control. His story airtight. I waited until the final slide, until the exact moment he exhaled like a man crossing a finish line. Then, click. Send. The PDF landed in every board member's inbox simultaneously. I didn't need to be on the call to know what happened. I'd seen the content enough times. Page 1. Ignored vendor risk, breach cost, $12.4 million. Page 2. Deferred system upgrade, potential liability, pending. Page 3. Direct quotes of my reports against his presentations, side by side. Truth against fabrication. receipts. By page 7, the director wasn't presenting anymore. He was unraveling. The chairman's silence was the loudest sound in the room. Then his face shifted, from irritation to realization to fear. That quiet, dawning horror of a man realizing he'd been walking blindfolded along a cliff edge, led there by someone he trusted. "Get legal on the line," he said. Then, softer, more urgent, "and find out where she is." I was already gone. Not running, not hiding, sitting in my apartment with a glass of wine, watching the city lights flicker like embers. I didn't need to be in that boardroom. My presence was stitched into every page of that PDF. The director would fight. He'd deny. He'd rage. But the evidence wasn't opinion. It was math. Dates, logs, emails. Each warning he ignored, each decision he falsified, it all painted the same picture. A pattern of negligence, a trail of lies, a career-ending firestorm, lit with a single spark. I don't regret it. He thought purging files would erase truth. He thought silencing me would secure his empire. What he never understood is that silence is not absence. It's preparation.